This is the story that has me fired up tonight. President Obama holding 3 fundraisers this evening in Manhattan. And moments ago, I give him a lot of credit, he put the birther story right where it needs to be.
My name is Barack Obama. I was born in Hawaii. The 50th state of the United States of America. No one checked my ID on the way in, but just in case.
So after 4 years as a United States Senator, 827 days as President of the United States, and 2 best-selling autobiographies, President Obama felt compelled to prove again to the country that he was born in the United States of America. This morning, the White House released the president's long-form birth certificate to the media, and the president addressed the made-up controversy from the briefing room. So now, after all the psychos have been out there hogging up all the network airtime with this absolute nonsense, the president, I think, deserves to have his full side of the story told tonight, unedited. Here are his comments in its entirety from today.
As many of you have been briefed, we provided additional information today about the site of my birth. Now, this issue has been going on for 2.5 years now. I think it started during the campaign. And I have to say that over the last 2.5 years, I have watched with bemusement. I've been puzzled at the degree to which this thing just kept on going. We've had every official in Hawaii, Democrat and Republican, every news outlet that has investigated this, confirm that, yes, in fact, I was born in Hawaii, August 4th, 1961, in Kapiolani Hospital. We've posted the certification that is given by the state of Hawaii on the internet for everybody to see. People have provided affidavits that they, in fact, have seen this birth certificate, and yet this thing just keeps on going. Now, normally, I would not comment on something like this because obviously there's a lot of stuff swirling in the press at any given day, and I've got other things to do. But 2 weeks ago, when the Republican House had put forward a budget that will have huge consequences potentially to the country, and when I gave a speech about my budget and how I felt that we needed to invest in education and infrastructure and making sure that we had a strong safety net for our seniors, even as we were closing the deficit. During that entire week, the dominant news story wasn't about these huge monumental choices that we're going to have to make as a nation. It was about my birth certificate. And that was true on most of the news outlets that were represented here. And so I just want to make a larger point here. We've got some enormous challenges out there. There are a lot of folks out there who are still looking for work. Everybody is still suffering under high gas prices. We're going to have to make a series of very difficult decisions about how we invest in our future, but also get a hold of our deficit and our debt. How do we do that in a balanced way? And this is going to generate huge and serious debates, important debates. And there are going to be some fierce disagreements. And that's good. That's how democracy is supposed to work. And I'm confident that the American people and America's political leaders can come together in a bipartisan way and solve these problems. We always have. But we're not going to be able to do it if we are distracted. We're not going to be able to do it if we spend time vilifying each other. We're not going to be able to do it if we just make stuff up and pretend that facts are not facts, we're not going to be able to solve our problems if we get distracted by sideshows and carnival barkers. We live in a serious time right now, and we have the potential to deal with the issues that we confront in a way that will make our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids proud. And I have every confidence that America in the 21st century is going to be able to come out on top just like we always have. But we're going to have to get serious to do it. Now, I know that there's going to be a segment of people for which, no matter what we put out, this issue will not be put to rest. But I'm speaking to the vast majority of the American people, as well as to the press. We do not have time for this kind of silliness. We got better stuff to do. I've got better stuff to do. We got big problems to solve, and I'm confident we can solve them, but we're going to have to focus on them, not on this. Thanks very much, everybody.
I am so glad the President of the United States came out and did exactly what he did today. Not going to be any hand-wringing from this broadcaster. Well, I really don't know how this is politically going to play out. It plays out perfect. Why? Because it is the truth. And there are too many people across this country who do believe all this psycho talk that takes place by these people who flat out hate this president. And I do believe that race is at the root of all of this. I'll get to that later on in this broadcast. But there were a couple of statements in there that caught my attention with President Obama. First, make stuff up. He said make stuff up. That tells me that the White House has been paying close attention to this for a long time. And I think in the midst of all of this, we as Americans have forgotten that the guy you just watched there is a human being. He has feelings. He has emotions. And the President of the United States has had to put up with this honky-tonk conversation in the media for too long. And it's unfortunate that in the media culture, anytime somebody says something abrasive, they're going to get some kind of attention. Trump has proven that. But to make stuff up, and that's exactly what has happened on one of the networks, for the Republicans not to come out and be clean on this, we went through one of the most exhaustive vetting processes in the last presidential election. And here we are when we have got 99ers out there. We've got gas prices going through the roof. We've got foreign issues that are at the table like they've never been before. And what are we doing as a country? We're focusing on this kind of garbage. Why? Because I think the media has failed in its job. You know, the question is, when do the facts become facts? How many facts do we need as broadcasters to step up to the plate and say, you know what? This is really a non-starter. It's a non-story. And this isn't what really Americans are concerned about. What the Republicans believe should not be the news story, because facts do matter. And I think the media is responsible in many respects for the way this whole thing, all this garbage, the way it's played out. Now, the #1 carnival barker in America got the news when he was on his helicopter this morning. The president put Trump to shame today. But that didn't stop the slime bucket from Manhattan from inventing a victory lap. Watch this.
I'm very proud of myself because I've accomplished something that nobody else has been able to accomplish. I'd want to look at it, but I hope it's true so that we can get on to much more important matters so the press can